Massage therapist or masseuse, have you ever had a session turned sexual with a client? How did it go down? I had a very sweet female client face up and was massaging through her neck and occipital muscles the base of her skull when she leaned her face over and kind of pressed her cheek into my forearm and sighed and nuzzled against me. She's just someone who totally zones out during massage, so while it wasn't overtly sexual, it certainly was an unusually intimate gesture. She snapped out of it when I adjusted myself away from her cheek, ASAP, without being jarring, and blushed with immediate embarrassment. Other than that, I have a few clients, male and female, who make oddly sexual noises but no other obvious signs of arousal. With some of them I'm prepared for the worst when I ask them to turn over onto their backs. I think some of them may be getting more out of the treatment than I intend, but nothing untoward has happened, although we have had some people email and phone us to ask us if we do that kind of thing. If I wanted to jerk people off for money, I could do that without going through 3 years of school and paying annual professional dues. My spouse, who is also a therapist, had a teenage male client of hers reach his hand out to touch her thigh while she was standing next to the table, and she politely and firmly shut him down. That's about as bad as it's gotten so far. Oh, I have a story as a client. I used to live in a great city located in Southern California. Across the street where I lived was a massage parlor ran out of an old historic home. I used to frequent as much as I could afford and things were great, or so I thought. I had never been to a masseuse before then and thought big tubs, showers, and champagne was normal since it was the only point of reference I had. After each session I had, the ladies frequently asked me if I needed anything else or wanted to extend. Being very budget conscious, I'd say, no thank you, it was great though. I'd get dressed and go home. On my last occasion though, things just felt off. She had me flip from my stomach and massage my quads and let her fingers drift a little and would ask me if I wanted anything more. I'd sheepishly reply, no, this is great. Thank you. As we finished, she asked me one more time if I'd like anything else, but I declined. A few weeks later I'm walking home from work and the police are all over my street. As many of you have already guessed, they were busting the place for being a known brothel. I tiptoed back home and waited for them to come to my house and bust me, but thankfully that never happened. Smiley face. Okay, so I am a massage therapist. I was working out of a gym and the guy asked for a 30-minute massage on his legs and abs because he was a runner. Nothing unusual about that request. So I finished massaging his legs and was massaging his abs. I pull down the sheet to his hips so his abs are exposed. He is completely naked under the sheet, not unusual, but the sheet is covering his privates. As I'm massaging his abs, he reaches his hand up to scratch his nose, but when his hand goes back down he accidentally pulled down the sheet to exposes his junk. I'm not bothered, I just pull the sheet back up over his junk and keep working. Then the sheet accidentally slipped down his hip again, exposing his dick again. I cover him up again and keep massaging his abs as that is what he asked for. Then it happens again. So this time I grabbed the sheet and tucked it under his hips this time and kept working without a word. He didn't try again. I continued as if nothing had happened, finished the massage like a professional and sent him on his way, and thankfully he never came back. Edit, typo, I meant massage therapist. Boy has one wrong letter caused a lot of comments, lol. Edit 2, I apparently didn't describe this clear enough. The guy's penis was resting in the up position on his lower abs inches from where I was massaging his abs. So when he exposed his dick multiple times it became clear that he was hoping that I'd massage his dick instead of his abs. My mom is a massage therapist. She has worked at several chiropractic offices. Oftentimes, if you're good enough and trustworthy enough, the chiropractors will give you the keys so you can see clients on the weekends. I once had to take an Uber to her work when she was scheduled to massage this one guy. He was married and new to the US. He had been sending messages to my mom, which made her question his intent, but chalked it up to him not speaking a lot of English. I get a call from her telling me to Uber to her place of work as soon as possible. Apparently the guy had sent a message with this code phrase that in the massage world means things are going to become sexual. So I'm the first to arrive. My mom gets there and tries to downplay the situation to make herself feel better by saying things like, well, maybe he just didn't know what that meant. I could be drawing a conclusion that isn't true. He has a wife after all. Man comes in with candy and flowers. He sees me sitting in the chair really confused. Hands them to my mom. She massages him. He pays her. Gives me a sideways glance, and leaves. A guy I know ended up dating his chiropractor. There was mild flirting for a few sessions, and then she messaged him to say that he would need to switch to getting treated by a different chiro at the practice. He was pretty disappointed until she hinted, because we aren't allowed to date our clients. Few weeks later, so, babe, Dr. Steven doesn't do that inner quad massage that you used to do. Was that? Yup. Totes inappropriate. 10 out of 10 would injure back again. I had this happen while on vacation in Florida. I was too shocked to say no. He was so subtle I kept telling myself it was an accident, even after multiple inappropriate touches. I heard a clock tower go off and managed to say something like, "Oh, it's already so late, I have to get to a movie with my son," or something like that. Left feeling horribly violated and so weak for not saying no. Called a massage therapist friend who told me that guy is a creep and to go to the police. I wish I never had. That experience was honestly worse than the creep. They wouldn't even come talk to me, so I either had to holler through 4 inches of glass or just leave. One sweet officer recognized that I was upset and followed me out to my rental car but told me that he was just a rookie and they didn't have a room to bring me back to. I left. Called my husband, he wasn't on that trip with me, who then called his retired cop father who used to work in that town. Father-in-law convinced me to go back and ask for a sergeant by name. I did. He never came out. Sent a beat cop out to talk to me in the lobby. At least this time I didn't have to deal with the glass. He told me the guy was probably just trying to get a bigger tip and that if I wasn't a family member of a cop he wouldn't even be giving me a reference number, not a case hashtag because it didn't qualify for a case. He basically said that because I didn't say no the guy did nothing wrong. I gave up. I did call the manager of the shop and he seemed to feel genuinely bad. Hopefully that guy was fired at least. I have different side of story. I was about 15 years old when that happened and it still gives me creeps. After a car accident I was assigned a massage therapist to massage my shoulder, since it was injured. Nothing else, just my hand and shoulder. So I come to this session and I see this really young guy waiting for me. I asked him, can I keep my clothes, and he said that I should be in my underwear. Already felt weird, but whatever I carried on. So I lay on the table and he massages me, when suddenly he starts massaging my back. Then lower back. I already felt super uncomfortable at this point. And then he pulls a bit of my underwear. And think of fact that his hands were really oily. He slipped his hands right in between my ass. My god. It was almost the end of the session and it did not last long, but I was so shocked that I froze that I dressed up and I went to the reception to cancel any sessions with him. I did not report the ass accident. All the receptionist said, "What went wrong?" "The old ladies love this guy, you will make one happy, by giving your space edit, thank you for all the support." Yes, I did not report it, nor I told anyone. I kept on lying to my parents that I am still going there. It took me around 2 hours to even go to the reception and say that I will not continue. Also, this happened years ago in small city of one of the European countries. Nobody would have believed me anyway. They would have said, "No bruises, no blood, the kid is imagining everything. She just wants to ruin a life of young massage therapist." I am not sure, but can suspect that he did this for other of his clients, since the receptionist also mentioned that he is not popular among young people.